You step out of your door, and your lungs instantly freeze. The air is 40 degrees below zero, a temperature so hostile it feels like a physical blow to your chest. There are no roads, no buildings, and no central heating systems to rescue your shivering frame. You are standing in the middle of northern Europe, 20,000 years ago during the last glacial maximum. How long do you think you could honestly survive out here? Most modern humans assume they could manage with the right jacket. We imagine survival is just a matter of shivering through a cold night until the sun comes up. But the reality of the Upper Paleolithic is far more brutal than a bad winter. Your modern body has completely forgotten how to generate and retain its own heat. Your survival depends entirely on ancient technologies you have never even heard of. Could your soft 21st century mind handle the psychological weight of absolute isolation? Anthropologist Professor John Shea has spent decades studying the stone tools of this exact era. His research demonstrates that prehistoric survival was not about brute force or thick skin. It was an incredibly complex game of engineering, physics, and extreme landscape memory. Every single object your ancestors carried had to be perfectly designed to prevent immediate death. If your stone blade snapped while you were miles from a quarry, you were finished. Would you know how to find high-grade flint hidden beneath 4 feet of solid ice? Consider the sheer caloric demands of a world locked in frost. Your brain alone consumes 20% of your daily energy just to process basic thoughts. In a freezing landscape, your body must burn an extra 1,000 calories a day just to keep your internal organs from shutting down. You cannot simply eat leaves, berries, or roots because they do not exist in this frozen desert. You must consume massive amounts of animal fat and protein just to stay alive. Where exactly do you plan on finding your next meal when every animal is a specialized predator? Excavations at the famous Sungir archaeological site in Russia offer a terrifying glimpse into this reality. Researchers discovered burials of early humans from the height of the Ice Age who were dressed in exquisite tailored clothing. They wore fitted trousers, heavy jackets, and boots constructed entirely from mammoth leather and fur. Each outfit was meticulously stitched together with thousands of carved ivory beads that acted as insulation layers. This was not primitive rags thrown over a shoulder like you see in Hollywood movies. This was high-performance survival gear that took thousands of hours to construct. Do you possess the sewing skills required to keep out a sub-zero gale? Let us reconstruct an average afternoon in your new prehistoric life. The wind is howling across an endless tundra of low shrubs and massive gravel plains. You have been walking for 6 hours tracking a small herd of reindeer through a blinding snowstorm. Your feet are numb inside your hide boots, and your fingers are stiffening inside your heavy mittens. You cannot stop to rest because sitting down on the frozen permafrost means your body heat will bleed directly into the earth. If you stop moving for more than 20 minutes, hypothermia will begin to cloud your judgment. You finally spot the herd moving along a shallow river valley. Hunting these animals requires you to crawl through the snow to get within throwing distance of your spear. Your ancestors used complex spear throwers made of reindeer antler to launch weapons with incredible velocity. If your aim is off by just a few inches, the wounded animal will escape and leave you starving. You must also remember that you are not the only hunter on this frozen plain. A pack of cave hyenas is already tracking the same herd, and they view you as a potential meal. How confident are you in your ability to fight off a 150-pound predator with a piece of sharpened stone? The sun begins to drop below the horizon at 4 in the afternoon. The temperature plummet is instantaneous and terrifying as the light fades away. You must find shelter immediately, but there are no trees for miles to block the wind. Your ancestors solved this by engineering temporary tents out of interlocking mammoth bones covered in heavy hides. They used the massive rib cages of these extinct beasts as structural arches to support the roof. You must assemble this heavy, freezing structure before your hands completely lose their fine motor skills. Once the frame is secure, you face the ultimate survival test of the Ice Age. You must start a fire inside your shelter to keep from freezing to death before dawn. There is no wood to burn on the tundra, so you must rely on a counterintuitive fuel source. You must use the dried, fat-rich bones of previously hunted megafauna to keep your campfire burning. Igniting bone fat requires an intense, sustained heat source that early humans created.